Chapter 73 CS/LR4. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The banquet was very lively and ended at 10 o'clock in the evening. Read, because it was the last time, everyone ate very happily. After all, the world has become such a mess. At 9 o'clock the next morning, Kai Wenjie came to the military camp and summoned all the combatants in the military camp. The soldiers lined up neatly at the entrance of the military camp, waiting for Kai Wenjie's inspection. Kai Wenjie stood in front of the team of soldiers and shouted loudly, Taiwan Novel Network. Good morning. Morning, Chief. The soldiers also responded with their own high voices. Kai Wenjie listened to the soldiers' vigorous shouts and nodded. Today, I am here to announce one thing, that is, we have a new mission. Just when the soldiers were confused, Kai Wenjie continued to speak loudly in a loud voice. The first mission is to help the survivors in the stadium gathering place to take back the stolen food. The second mission is to completely annihilate the bandits who robbed the food and rescue the detained hostages. Because the enemy's armed forces are not clear, for the sake of maximum safety, we will carry out assassination missions. The soldiers below still stood straight, and no one spoke. And because it is an assassination mission, our operation will be carried out at night. Everyone will check their equipment immediately after this speech to see if there are any malfunctions or other problems, especially night vision goggles. Originally, this sentence should not be raised by Kai Wenjie, but because he was afraid that the soldiers would not be used to it, he emphasized it. Because we need to guard the entrance to the village and patrol daily, the number of people in this operation, including me, will not exceed 15. I will personally lead a sniper team to provide remote support and command the operation. At this time, Deng Jun, who was originally quite quiet, suddenly stood up and said, I object. Then he said helplessly, Captain, you can't go. What if something happens to this newly established gathering place? I've said it before, I'm responsible for remote command and support, and I won't go to the battlefield at close range. Don't worry about me. But. Okay. It's settled. I have more important things to give you than this. Kai Wenjie quickly interrupted Deng Jun and said, I want you to select 3 soldiers with strong shooting ability. Soldiers, go change into new weapons, become this sniper team, and stay with me. Yes. Deng Jun could only agree to Kai Wenjie and returned to his position and stood back. This time the destination is a village less than 50 kilometers away from us, called Wumi village. The entire village has a population of less than 200 people, of which there are about 60 armed personnel. According to intelligence, the weapons equipped by the armed personnel include Type 56 submachine guns, Type 81 automatic rifles, Type 95 automatic rifles, and earth muskets. In addition, although there is no intelligence showing that the village has heavy firepower, it does not completely rule out that the enemy has heavy firepower, such as heavy machine guns and rocket launchers. Kai Wenjie first repeated the intelligence he learned from Zhou Weigua and his own guesses. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. So, this assassination and hostage rescue mission is scheduled at 3 a.m., and the team will be divided into 2 teams, A and B, with 5 people in each team. Team A will rescue the hostages, Team B will carry out the assassination, and the sniper team led by me will be responsible for remote support. Originally, Kai Wenjie didn't want to divide the team into 2 teams, but because he was afraid that the enemy would kill the hostages after being exposed, he simply divided them into 2 teams. Because this mission is at midnight, Deng Jun, you will take them to sleep later, so as to avoid any accidents at midnight due to sleepiness. Yes. Then disband now. Deng Jun, take the people you choose, find me to get new weapons, and then go back to sleep. After speaking, Kai Wenjie turned and entered the arsenal in the barracks, and Deng Jun left 3 people behind and dismissed the other soldiers. Before Deng Jun came in, Kai Wenjie took out the sniper rifle that he had exchanged last night, the CS/LR4 sniper rifle, formerly known as the 62mm high-precision sniper rifle, also known as the NSG-1, fires 62 by 51mm NATO caliber rifle bullets, a 5-round single-row straight magazine, and is equipped with a white light sight. Before the end of the world, the unit price of this gun was 260,000, the system now sells it for 5,000 points. Kai Wenjie bought 4 directly, and then bought 800 rounds of bullets, with 200 rounds of bullets for each sniper rifle. At this time, Deng Jun brought 3 people to the armory. As soon as the 4 entered the armory, they found sniper rifles arranged in order. Although they were curious about the guns, they saluted Kai Wenjie first. Deng Jun introduced the names of the 3 soldiers to Kai Wenjie. Report to the company commander, the 3 of them are the best soldiers among us. Report to the company commander. My name is Zhang Hai. Report to the company commander. My name is Li Tian. Report to the company commander. My name is Sun Quan. That the 3 young soldiers introduced their names in turn. The first soldier is called Zhang Hai, who is from LJ City. He is about 1.8 meters tall. He is tall and has a simple and honest face. You can tell at a glance that he is a soldier. The second soldier is called Li Tian, who is from HLJ. He is about 1.7 meters tall. With a thin build and resolute eyes, he looks like a very calm person at first glance. The third soldier is called Sun Quan, a native of YJ. He is less than 1.8 meters tall, has an average build, and has an average appearance. He is the kind of person who can blend into the crowd at once. Someone who will not be discovered. Kai Wenjie listened to the 3 self-introductions, nodded first, then pointed at the CS/LR4 sniper rifle and said, "Are you familiar with this gun?" Report, "We haven't used this gun, but we've heard about this gun." Very good, very honest. These sniper rifles are the sniper rifles we will use for night missions, CS/LR4 high-precision sniper rifles. The effective range is 600 meters, equipped with an 8-32x white light sight, a low-light image intensifier, laser ranging/ballistic calculation computer. In order to help you get started as soon as possible, I have prepared an excellent instructor for you. Kai Wenjie pointed to the door, and everyone followed Kai Wenjie's finger and looked over. Unexpectedly, there was a person standing at the door, but none of them noticed it. The person standing in front of the door was Shunlu. He was suddenly summoned by Kai Wenjie, and now he was standing at the door looking at everyone with an innocent face. "Come. Let me introduce to you, the only professional sniper among my men. He will be your instructor from now on, and he will also participate in this mission." Everyone applauds. After speaking, Kai Wenjie took the lead in applauding, and everyone followed Kai Wenjie in applauding. Shunlu turned into a sniper instructor with an innocent look on his face. "Now the 3 of you get your sniper rifles and follow Shunlu to the shooting range for training. Train until you hit the target accurately at 600 meters without leaving the target. Yes. Promise to complete the mission." Chapter 73 Pre-War Preparations. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although still a little confused, Shunlu loudly agreed to Kai Wenjie's order after hearing it. Shunlu led everyone to get sniper rifles and bullets, and then went out to find a place to train. When Deng Jun wanted to leave, Kai Wenjie stopped him. Taiwan Novel Network. Wait a minute, I have something else to tell you. At night, you personally lead Team A to rescue the hostages, but there is one thing I want you to pay attention to. I suspect there is a traitor among the hostages, otherwise the people of Wumi village would not know the whereabouts of the food convoy, let alone prepare in advance. After hearing Kai Wenjie's analysis, Deng Jun suddenly realized that what he said was right. If someone hadn't reported it in advance, how could it be robbed? The company commander wants me to find the traitor among the hostages. But if there really is a traitor, wouldn't he have exposed himself? After all, if he just intercepted the food, the traitor's mission would have been completed. Indeed, if the traitor really only wanted to intercept the food, he should have exposed himself. But what if the traitor's purpose is not just food? Does that mean the traitor has other more important purposes? Deng Jun answered in surprise, and Kai Wenjie nodded. Yes, I suspect this is just a trick of the traitor. Although I don't know what his purpose is, I think it is definitely not a good thing. So after you complete the mission and the food convoy is transported back to the stadium gathering place, gather all the hostages together and interrogate them one by one, and make sure to find the traitor or spy. Kai Wenjie is afraid that this thing is not a traitor but a spy, especially a spy sent by another country. God knows how big and powerful the forces behind this will be. If a powerful foreign force targets him and sends troops to assassinate him or his family, it will be troublesome. After all, with his current strength, he can't prevent assassinations from others. TSK. Still too weak. Hearing Kai Wenjie's whisper, Deng Jun's head was filled with black lines. A man with more than a platoon of soldiers under his command actually said that he was weak, and this platoon was the kind that was fully armed and well-equipped, and there was no lack of heavy firepower, infantry fighting vehicles, rocket launchers, anti-materials, everything. Of course, Deng Jun just complained in his heart, and his face remained serious. I guarantee to complete the mission. Please rest assured that I will definitely find the traitor or spy and hand it over to the company commander for processing. Well. Go down and have a good rest. Yes. After Deng Jun answered loudly, he left the armory to rest. Kai Wenjie first left bullets and grenades in the arsenal, which were all exchanged by Kai Wenjie in the system store. He exchanged 50,000 bullets of various calibers and 1,000 grenades. There were 82-2 grenades currently in service in the Z country army. The damage radius was greater than 6 m. The fragmentation bushing of the projectile body was injection molded with 1,600 steel balls and plastic. The diameter of each steel ball was about 0 mm. A layer of plastic was wrapped outside the fragmentation bushing as the shell of the grenade. It directly filled up half of the arsenal. Kai Wenjie was satisfied and left the arsenal, then left the barracks and returned home. Kai Wenjie, who had just entered the house and wanted to continue sleeping, saw a person standing upright in the yard of his home waiting for him to come back. It was Duan Long, who was just appointed as the quartermaster yesterday. Seeing Kai Wenjie coming back, Duan Long saluted first, and then spoke. Report to the chief, we are running low on reserve supplies. Food is fine, but cooking oil, salt, and other seasonings, as well as medicines, bandages, and other medical supplies are in short supply. Is that so? Okay, I get it. I will organize people to search for supplies and medical supplies in the near future. If there is anything missing, please make a table and send it to me. Yes. Anything else? No. Then go ahead. I'm going to rest. Duan Long saluted again and left. Kai Wenjie then entered the house and shouted. I'm back. After confirming that his parents were there, he returned to his room. Because he couldn't sleep, he first checked his phone for a while. Although it was a disaster period, the army saved power plants, reservoirs, communication towers and other equipment at the first time, so far, there has been no water, electricity, or internet outages. You can still play with your phone happily, watch zombie stations, or other entertainment videos, but basically, the content of the videos is related to the gathering place. Some people uploaded the rescue situation of the gathering place, some uploaded how to fight zombies and how to avoid zombies, and some uploaded the world city that has become a zombie world. Everyone uploaded their experiences and missing person notices online. Kai Wenjie casually looked at the videos uploaded by others, and suddenly found that someone uploaded a video of CD City in SE province. A wave of zombies appeared and was attacking the newly built city wall. The fire on the city wall was not on fire, but the fire from the muzzle when the bullet was fired. Because it was at night, the gunfire was particularly bright. There were densely packed soldiers standing on the city wall, less than half a meter apart, and heavy machine guns or flamethrowers were arranged every few meters, and artillery was firing in the back. The sound of artillery and gunfire in the video was connected, resounding through the sky. The person who was filming obviously said something, but it was directly covered by the sound of artillery or gunfire, and nothing could be heard. If you can't see it in the video, go to the comment area. There are tens of thousands of comments in the comment area, saying all kinds of things. Kai Wenjie read them one by one and finally found what the person in the video said. From noon on the first day to now, not only have the zombies not been killed, but the situation has even intensified. The soldiers on the city wall have been replaced one after another. Now there are rumors that the army's bullets are almost used up, and they will abandon this place directly. I haven't slept for 2 days because of the sound of artillery fire. I can't hold on any longer. I'm so sleepy. There are many replies under this comment that day. This is too miserable. Although there was a little noise on my side on the first day, there was no gunfire afterwards. It's the same here. Why are you so selfish, you just can't sleep. The soldiers fighting on the city wall must not sleep either, and they are still fighting. What qualifications do you have to complain? Don't say it, he also didn't sleep for too long, so he posted a video to complain. I'll find a way for you, you also go to the city wall and jump down, believe me, you will be able to fall asleep in a short while. Fuck, the above is really cruel. Not only can you sleep, you can also sleepwalk. 2333 That there are all kinds of things, some sympathetic, some opposed, but more are teasing. Kai Wenjie continued to browse for a while, then left a sentence come on in the comment area and closed his eyes and fell asleep. Chapter 74 Pre-War Preparations 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was already 7 o'clock in the evening when I opened my eyes. Kai Wenjie sat up from his bed, stretched, and after moving his body, he got out of bed and went to the bathroom to start washing up, and then went to the kitchen to see if there was anything to eat. In the kitchen, Kai's mother was stewing something. Kai Wenjie walked into the kitchen and first said hello to Kai's mother. Mom, what are you cooking? It tastes good. Son, are you up? I made black chicken soup specially for you. Go to the table and wait for a while. It will be over soon. Mother Kai first asked her son to sit and wait for a while, and then continued busy cooking. Okay, then I'll go ask Dad to come for dinner first. Not wanting to wait, Kai Wenjie left the kitchen on the pretext of notifying Kai's father to eat. He went to the second floor and scanned the living room. No one was seen, so Kai Wenjie instinctively thought that Kai's father was in the room and pushed away without any hesitation. They walked into their parents' room and said, Dad, what are you doing in the room? Kai Wenjie, who had just opened the door, showed an expression of disbelief when he saw the decoration of the room. Father Kai also seemed to be shocked and wanted to cover up the decorations and props in the room, but it was too late. The father and son faced each other, eye to eye. In the end, Kai Wenjie took a step back first. Dad, I don't object to your and Mom's interest. By the way, Mom asked you to come down for dinner. Well, that's it. After Kai Wenjie finished speaking, he immediately closed the door and left the second floor without looking back. After going downstairs, he looked at his mother in the kitchen with a complicated look in his eyes. As the saying goes, the hotter when you are older, but this is too spicy. Oh. I saw something I shouldn't have seen. I really want to delete the scene just now. In order to prevent his mother from knowing that his son discovered the couple's little secret, Kai Wenjie first went to the bathroom, washed his face with cold water, and then patted it hard several times until he could skillfully reveal his paralyzed face before leaving. Go to the bathroom and return to the kitchen. At this time, Kai's father also came down. After seeing Kai Wenjie, he obviously wanted to explain something. However, since Kai's mother was still around and did not know what his son knew, in order not to cause embarrassment, Kai's father could only pretend that nothing happened and muddle through. Kai Wenjie also wisely closed his mouth and sat in his seat silently. Kai's mother first gave her son and husband a bowl of chicken soup, and then said, Try my craftsmanship now. This is my first time making black-bone chicken. The taste should be similar to ordinary chicken, right? Okay, I'll try it right away. At this time Kai Wenjie's answer. It doesn't matter, everything you cook tastes delicious to me. At this time, my father replied in a panic. Kai Wenjie took a sip of black-bone chicken soup and nodded in praise. It tastes great, Mom. Your craftsmanship has improved again. If it tastes good, drink more. There is plenty in the pot. If there is not enough, Mom will make it for you. The scene is very warm, a typical scene of a loving mother and a filial son. It would have been even more perfect if I hadn't just learned about that incident. The dinner ended in an extremely awkward situation. After Kai Wenjie put down the dishes and chopsticks, he left home because he still had things to deal with at the military camp. He never gave Kai's father a chance to explain, which made Kai's father a little troubled. After Kai Wenjie stepped out of his house, he first nodded and said something to the soldiers standing guard. Thanks for your hard work. Then he left the house and called Song Yi and others who lived across the street to take a ride to the military camp. This time, not only the 15th night, but also the battle shield was driven out by Kai Wenjie and went to the military camp together. When Kai Wenjie arrived at the military camp, it was already 8 o'clock in the evening. The soldiers standing guard at the gate of the military camp saw the company commander's car driving in and quickly saluted the car. Kai Wenjie also saluted back in the passenger seat. Because the mission was carried out around 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, the soldiers had just gotten up and were eating dinner in the cafeteria. In order not to interfere with the soldiers' eating, Kai Wenjie did not enter the canteen, but entered the conference room on the first floor. The layout of the conference room is very grand, with a space area of 100 square meters. At the front is a large screen, which is also a high-tech virtual screen. As long as you insert images or photos and other data into the operating instrument, the images can be played in a holographic 4D screen. Or photos, perfect for pre-war meetings. The arrangement of tables and chairs can refer to the Great Hall of the People. This conference room can accommodate 30 people. Kai Wenjie sat in the front seat and waited for the soldiers to finish their meal. Song Yi had already gone to inform Deng Jun that after the soldiers had finished their meal, they would call those who would take action tonight to the conference room to make final pre-war preparations. In less than 10 minutes, Deng Jun led people to the conference room. It was obvious that when Song Yi informed Deng Jun obviously rushed the soldiers to eat quickly, and then hurriedly led people to the conference room. Here you go, take a seat. Yes. Everyone is seated. The soldiers who came to the conference room all found a seat to sit down. Kai Wenjie stood up from his seat, came to the virtual screen, turned on the device, and put the photos taken from Zhou Weigua into the operation inside the instrument. The virtual screen lit up, and content began to be displayed in a holographic 4D screen. What's on the screen is a map, and because it's a holographic screen, the map inside is a real picture. Kai Wenjie first pointed to the blue location on one side of the map and began to introduce it. This blue dot is where we are, and the other red dot is where we are going to raid tonight, which is Wumi village. He moved his finger to the red dot not far from the map, and then pulled his hands apart, zooming in on the map of the red dot, revealing the topography around the red dot. There are only 2 entrances to this Wumi village. One is the entrance to the village on the cliff next to the highway, and the other is a small road to the north of the village. The rest are either cliffs or mountains. Kai Wenjie pointed to the 2 exits of the village and said to the people below, and specifically mentioned the cliffs and mountains. Our main mission this time is to recover food and rescue hostages. While ensuring the completion of the previous mission, we will try our best to eliminate the enemy's armed personnel. Therefore, the mission of Team A this time is very important, Deng Jun. I believe you can complete the mission perfectly. Yes. Please rest assured, Captain, I will complete the mission. Kai Wenjie nodded and continued. The grain transport convoy was robbed on the side close to the highway. I suspect that road has been heavily guarded by the people of Wumi village. Although there must be people guarding the road on the other side, I think it should not be more serious than the other one, so this time we will enter the village from the other side. Kai Wenjie pointed to the second road and said. Before entering the village, we will arrange snipers to kill the armed personnel guarding the gate first to prevent them from issuing a warning. After that, the vehicle will stop at the corner 200 meters away from the village entrance. Chapter 75 Wumi Village. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Then the snipers will occupy nearby commanding heights to provide vision and long-range support, while the members of Team AB will walk into the village and perform separate tasks. After Team A successfully rescues the hostages and delivers them to the evacuation point, they will cooperate with Team B in the assassination mission. If unfortunately you are discovered or encounter heavy firepower, our snipers will help you escape. Kai Wenjie first drew a circle on the mountains or other high places near Wumi village, indicating that this was the sniper's sniper point. Red, after the people below saw it clearly, they drew a circle on a certain place in Wumi village. This is where the people from Wumi village have stored the food they snatched back. It's a large warehouse with large trucks transporting food. According to my estimation, they haven't moved the food down yet, so Team A is completing the hostage rescue and following up. After Team B completes the assassination mission, it takes the driver inside the hostage to drive out the truck. If Team B's actions are exposed in advance, Team A's priority is to bring the hostages out safely and then support Team B in a storming attack. Kai Wenjie finished the entire plan in one breath and looked at the soldiers below. If you have any opinions, you can put them forward. Report. What to do if you encounter an unarmed person? A soldier raised his hand and asked Kai Wenjie. Kai Wenjie said without emotion. All actions must be completed with the primary purpose of completing the task. Do you understand? Yes. Kai Wenjie's meaning is very obvious. Anyone who interferes with the completion of the task can be shot mercilessly. Any more? There is none left. Very good. It's 8:30 now. I'll give you 30 minutes to prepare. Meet on time at the playground at 9 o'clock. Yes. Half an hour later. 15 people who will go on this mission have already gathered on the playground. Team A is led by Deng Jun, and Team B is led by the deputy platoon leader who has no presence. Each team has 5 people. The rest is the sniper squad led by Kai Wenjie, which consists of 4 snipers. Shun Lu is also among them. Song Yi and Zhang Fei was left to take care of Kai's father and Kai's mother's safety. Kai Wenjie looked at the people in front of him and ordered firmly. Set off. The vehicles used this time were 2 infantry fighting vehicles and the Knight 15. The 2 infantry fighting vehicles each joined a team, and Kai Wenjie led the sniper squad to the Knight 15. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. The 2 infantry fighting vehicles, still led by Knight 15, then drove to the gate at the intersection of the village. There was now a squad of soldiers stationed at the gate. In addition to the basic equipment, they were also equipped with additional firepower such as heavy machine guns and rocket launchers. Unless they encountered otherwise, this configuration would be enough for the same level of heavy firepower. Seeing the vehicle coming out from inside, the garrison squad leader guarding the gate quickly directed everyone to open the gate and saluted. After watching the convoy leave, he closed the door again and continued to protect the entrance to the village. At this moment, Wumi village is completely unaware of the danger coming and is still living what it thinks is a happy life. The village chief of Wumi village is the person who actually controls Wumi village. His name is Zhou Zucai. He is now 55 years old. He is not a local, but a native of Xinjiang. It was impossible for him to become the village chief. After spending some connections and paying a certain price, I not only obtained YJ's household registration but also could live in the interior indefinitely. As for why he came to the mainland, there is a reason. Before XG returned, Zhou Zucai was actually the boss of some gang-related personnel and he could make over 1,000, but later for some reason he was stabbed in the back by his brother and all the property in his name was taken away. In the end, his family was ruined, and there was no way out. The people who took away all his property did not want to let him go, and kept sending killers to chase him. In order to completely avoid the killers, Zhou Zucai had already sneaked into XG before he returned. Inland, Zhou Zucai, who smuggled into the inland, did not just sink. Instead, he used his identity as a trader to collect a lot of money by digging and defrauding him. I will not explain the various methods one by one. To put it simply, he was like a certain person. It's the same as some foreign teachers making money in country Z, because Zhou Zucai was afraid that being too famous would bring disaster, he often changed places. After changing places, he came to YJ. Zhou Zucai had had enough of the life of hiding in Tibet for these years, so after spending almost all his wealth, he finally changed to a local registered permanent residence. and the position of village chief. Only then did Zhou Zucai gain a foothold in the inland. The original name of the village was not Wumi village, but Jiufeng village. Because there were 9 peaks surrounding the village, it was named Jiufeng village. However, Zhou Zucai did not like this name because one of the brothers who betrayed him during XG happened to be named Qi Jiufeng. When he heard this name, he got angry, so he changed the name of the village to the current Wumi village. This is the origin of Wumi village. Originally, the villagers in the village did not agree with Zhou Zucai's willful behavior, but because Zhou Zucai had been the boss before, no one dared to really speak out against it, and Zhou Zucai was still in the process of becoming the village chief. At that time, benefits were given to the villagers in the village. Because of the short-term staff, no one supported the newly appointed village chief because of the name of the village. Zhou Zucai had managed a community with thousands of people before, so he was very comfortable managing Wumi village, which was not too crowded. Even when he was fighting for the benefits from above, he could make all the villagers benefit, so he was very popular in the village. Because he was betrayed by his brother before, Zhou Zucai seriously regretted his past mistakes and figured out why he was betrayed. The most important reason was that he not only ate the meat but also drank up the soup, leaving only his brothers to gnaw on the bones. Brothers and younger brothers are all human beings. Can people survive by gnawing on bones? Impossible. So he was stabbed. Zhou Zucai, who figured it out, completely changed himself. Although the meat was still his, he also learned how to use the remaining soup and bones to win people's hearts and establish an image. In less than a few years, all the villagers in the village were respectful to him and obeyed his words. This alone was not enough. In order to be on the safe side, when the country issued a gun ban, Zhou Zucai not only did not take back the village's earthen muskets or hunting rifles, but hid them secretly. No one discovered it until the Doomsday broke out. Moreover, at the moment of the Doomsday, Zhou Zucai, based on his keen judgment, led people to rob the nearby police station, took control of all the police officers, and took all the police equipment into his own bag. The weapons used when the grain transport convoy passed by were from these. Chapter 76 Zhou Zucai. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As for how he knew that the grain truck would pass through his village, it was not because Kai Wenjie thought there was a traitor or spy, but because someone took a photo of the grain truck and uploaded it to the internet, and it happened that Zhou Zucai saw the photo posted by this person. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. Reading, Zhou Zucai simulated the route of the grain convoy in his mind and found that there was a high possibility that it would pass through his territory. With the feeling of a blind cat holding a dead mouse, he ordered the villagers and his diehards to set up the route that the grain convoy must pass. Trap. In the end, he was actually robbed, allowing him to directly harvest several carts of grain, enough to feed everyone in their village for a year. Moreover, they also obtained a large number of firearms. It turned out that the grain transport convoy also transported several boxes of firearms and ammunition. They were originally intended to supply weapons and bullets to the stadium gathering place, but now they were all seized by Zhou Zucai. This made Zhou Zucai's ambition grow crazily, but at the same time he also knew that he had caused a big disaster. If it was just food, it would be okay. As long as he believed that his village had run out of food, he would not be able to survive. For the sake of hundreds of people in the village, the mouth people can only rob food, so they should be able to cope with it. However, the grain convoy not only transported grain but also had these firearms, which meant that there was no chance for quibbles. Zhou Zucai had no choice but to grit his teeth and continue walking. He ordered that all the special police officers and drivers who were escorting the grain be tied up in the village, in the open space, and then personally come to win over these people and let them join their village. And he promised that as long as they join his village, they will be given a lot of benefits or welfare. As a result, no one agreed to him. Instead, they all tried to persuade Zhou Zucai not to do stupid things and let them go early. Otherwise, once the gathering place knew the situation here, will send someone to deal with him as soon as possible. Seeing these people's unwillingness to eat, Zhou Zucai could only continue to have them tied to pillars in the open space in the village, and tortured them without food or drink until they gave up and joined his village. This is already the third day. The people tied to the pillars are already shaky. They have not eaten anything for almost 3 days, and they have not drank a drop of water. They can hardly hold on. As we all know, water is an important component of the human body. About 2/3 of a person's body weight comes from liquid, and only 1/3 is solid matter. The time a person can survive without drinking water is only 2 to 7 days, which varies depending on the individual's physical constitution and environment. If you are in the desert, if you don't drink water for a day, you will soon fall into dehydration symptoms, and then die of thirst. Fire was now rising in the open space in the village. Zucai stood in front of this group of people, holding a mineral water bottle in his hand, which contained the water they urgently needed to replenish. Surrender. If you don't drink water, you will soon die of thirst or freeze to death. As long as you surrender, I will let my men let you go immediately. Look, what is in my hand? Don't you want to drink water? As long as you surrender. If you surrender, I will give you water. Zucai shook the mineral water bottle in his hand in front of everyone. The water made a liquid collision sound as the bottle shook. This was a particularly cruel torture for the people tied to the pillars, especially since this group of people had been there for 3 years. I haven't had any water for the whole day, and I won't be able to hold on any longer, but most of this group of people are special police, and their will is not so easy to destroy, so the special police still refuse to surrender, and even closed their eyes to resist the body's instinct. However, the drivers are not special police, and they are not that big. I have worked very hard to persist until now. Under Zucai's temptation and the limit of his body function, one driver finally couldn't hold on any longer, and shouted in a hoarse voice with all his strength. I surrender, give me water. Give me water. I'm dying of thirst, hurry up. Seeing that someone finally surrendered, Zhou breathed a sigh of relief. To be honest, he was about to give up. This group of people was particularly difficult to deal with, and they had very strong willpower and were simply difficult to deal with. Zucai immediately laughed happily, then asked his men to untie the driver's rope, then gave him a bottle of water and said, "Very good. I said that as long as you surrender, I will give you a very good house, women, and food. You just need to obey my orders." The truck driver didn't listen to what Zucai said at all. He just poured the mineral water into his mouth. Soon he drank the 500 milliliters bottle of mineral water, and then asked Zucai's men for water again. Zucai's subordinates looked at their boss. After getting the boss's acquiescence, they immediately brought a whole box of mineral water and asked the driver to continue drinking. Maybe it was because he hadn't drank water for too long. The driver drank at least 5 bottles of 500 bottles. After drinking 500 milliliters of mineral water, I breathed a sigh of relief. How so comfortable. The other drivers who were still tied to the pillars saw that they could drink as much as they wanted after surrendering. Another person surrendered. Soon all the drivers except the SWAT officers had surrendered and were desperately drinking water next to them. Zucai smiled happily. People all have a herd mentality. As long as one person can't stand the temptation, basically everyone will act according to their own desires. There was a young man among the tied-up special police officers who was a little moved, but he gritted his teeth and persevered. His name is Li Mu, he is 22 years old, and he has just become a special police officer for less than a year. Among the entire escort team, he is the youngest and the oldest is 32 years old. He is also the captain of the escort team. The captain's name is Zhang Yong, and he is already an experienced special police officer with 8 years of experience. He is very proud of the team members who grit their teeth and persevere even when they are about to give up. However, no matter how proud he is, it cannot compare with his name. In order to prevent his team members from sacrificing in such a place, he decided to be a traitor. If there is no rescue by tomorrow, even if he is cursed, he must let the team members live. They should not die here. Zucai is no longer anxious. Now it is only a matter of time for them to surrender. There is no need to do it so personally. To be honest, Zucai does not want to recruit these special police, because it is very difficult to make the special police obedient. Although the village now belongs to him completely, the people in the village basically do not know how to use firearms skillfully. He can only find someone who can use firearms skillfully to teach them how to shoot. This is why Zhou Zucai tried every means to recruit special police and teach his villagers to shoot. That's it for today. Put those who surrender in a separate room and find a woman to serve them. As for these special police, let them freeze outside for another day. Chapter 77 Observation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After Zhou Zucai finished his instructions, he returned to his house. The people around him gradually dispersed, leaving only the SWAT officers who had not surrendered. At this time, the SWAT officers who had not spoken anything started chatting. How is it, Mu2, can you still hold on? Captain, do you look down on me? Not to mention 3 days, I can survive without food or water for a month. Damn. Brat, bragging without thinking, do you want to become a zombie without food or water for a month? Ha ha ha, that everyone laughed, and in order to slightly ease the declining morale, they actively communicated. Time passed by, and after Kai Wenjie and others killed several blind zombies, they arrived at a corner not far from Wumi village, where they could park their cars and would not be discovered by the villagers. In order to ensure safety, Kai Wenjie has ordered everyone to eliminate all nearby zombies and any foreseen animals. After eliminating all the zombies nearby, it was 1 o'clock in the middle of the night. There were still 2 hours before the operation began. Kai Wenjie first gathered everyone and began to arrange the tasks. Shunlu, take someone to a suitable high point on the left mountain. After you get there, contact us through the intercom. Go ahead. Yes. You. Follow me to find a high point. Shunlu first whispered yes, and then took a sniper to the mountain on the left side of the village to find a high point. Deng Jun, you lead the team and set off in 2 hours. I will remove the sentries in the village during the operation. Don't worry about being discovered. Yes. Also, Deputy Platoon Leader. You lead your team and sneak in with Deng Jun in 2 hours, and then remove the sentries one by one. For your safety, I allow you to kill without mercy. As long as they interfere with your mission, don't be soft-hearted and kill them directly. Do you understand? Yes. Make sure to complete the mission. Very good. Everyone keep practicing the walkie-talkie. I will take the remaining snipers to find an observation point on the mountain on the right. I will observe your actions throughout the process and provide remote support. Report any situation. After Kai Wenjie finished speaking, he took the remaining 2 snipers to the mountain on the right side of Wumi village to find an observation point. Deng Jun and the deputy platoon leader and others were left behind. Kai Wenjie was always vigilant on the way up the mountain. In order not to be exposed, Kai Wenjie and others did not use lights, but used night vision goggles to watch the road. Soon Kai Wenjie found an excellent observation point and sniper point. A small open space can just accommodate a few adults, and there are natural concealments from a high altitude. Kai Wenjie took out a thermal imaging telescope and began to observe the village below. The village was about 300 meters away from here. Kai Wenjie could clearly see the layout of the village. Soon Kai Wenjie found the tied-up special police officers, and one by one they were almost wilted. Kai Wenjie took out the walkie-talkie and started to talk. Deng Jun, the hostages are in the open space in the middle of the village, less than 200 meters from the entrance of the village. After entering the village, you need to go to the right for 50 meters at the first corner, then go to the left and walk all the way to the end to see the open space of the village. Received. Deng Jun listened attentively to what Kai Wenjie said. In addition to the sentry post at the village entrance opposite, there is also a sentry post at another exit of the village. There are 2 people on duty at each sentry post. The initial judgment is that the weapons are 5 or 6 charges. Because it is thermal imaging, Kai Wenjie can only see white human figures. There are 2 human figures in the sentry post at the exit of the village. One is standing, and the other is sitting under the sentry post, with his head tilted to one side, looking like he is asleep. If you look from below, it is easy to ignore the sleeping person and think that there is only one person in the sentry post. Kai Wenjie continued to look for other hidden people, and finally found several people on several houses around the open space of the village. they all held a gun in their hands, which looked like a 95 type rifle. From the distribution, it can be vaguely seen that they surrounded the open space, and the open space became their shooting range. Although they had formed a siege around the open space, they were still discovered by Kai Wenjie. Through thermal imaging, it can be found that there were people on the roofs of several houses around, but only one of them was awake, and the others were lying on the ground or leaning against the wall, obviously asleep. After careful observation, Kai Wenjie picked up the walkie-talkie and contacted the deputy platoon leader in charge of the assassination. Deputy platoon leader, when you go in later, cooperate with the sniper team first, and give priority to eliminating the ambush on the roofs of the houses around the village open space. I will remind you where there are ambushes later. Yes. After notifying the deputy platoon leader, Kai Wenjie continued to do the reconnaissance task, and soon found that the largest building in the village was protected by at least dozens of armed men. There were several people patrolling in a few minutes. It was no wonder that this was the residence of the local leader. Why did Kai Wenjie guarantee it? Could it be a place like a warehouse? Because this house is very out of place compared to the surrounding buildings. The surrounding buildings are all brick houses or two-story buildings. Only this place is a villa, and it is the kind with a swimming pool. The villa is 4 stories high and covers an area of about 700 square meters. The surroundings are dim, only this side is brightly lit. It is difficult for Kai Wenjie not to pay attention. The villa is surrounded by a 2.5-meter high wall covered with iron wire. There are people on the roof of the villa looking down. There are people patrolling the yard with large dogs every 5 minutes. There are also people holding guns at the gate. The villa is 500 meters away from the open space, which does not affect Deng Jun and his rescue operation, but there is one bad thing. The villa is beyond the sniper's range. Of course, Shun Lu can still hit it. Everyone pay attention. A villa suspected to be the leader of the other party was found 500 meters away from the open space. The villa is well guarded. Be sure to complete the task before the people in the villa react. Kai Wenjie said to the walkie-talkie while observing the bottom. Suddenly, Kai Wenjie seemed to have discovered something, adjusted the distance of the telescope, and looked carefully at a place. The stolen grain truck was found. The grain on the truck has not been unloaded yet. It is not far to the east of the open space. No one is guarding it. Kai Wenjie said with some doubts. To be honest, Kai Wenjie didn't understand why there was no one guarding the grain truck. Did he trust the villagers? Or was it a trap? Kai Wenjie fell silent, feeling that things were not simple. If the truck was really a trap, then what was his purpose? What was the purpose of setting the trap? Was it to catch the hostage rescuers? Chapter 78 Rescue. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just in case, Kai Wenjie changed his battle plan. Diamond Suit, Diamond Suit, Diamond Suit, Diamond Suit, Taiwan Novel Network. Continue to rescue the hostages, but don't touch the food side yet. The rescue plan has changed. After you rescue the hostages, Deng Jun, support the deputy platoon leader in the assassination mission. After the other villagers in the village are eliminated, storm the villa. Then I will use the infantry fighting vehicles and rocket launchers. Eliminate all the militants in the villa in a short period of time. Kai Wenjie issued the massacre order in a cold voice. It was not that he had no conscience, he was just trying to protect himself. Otherwise, his men would suffer casualties. This is what Kai Wenjie did not want to see. Instead of letting his men risk being shot, instead of showing mercy, it would be better to massacre all the people who looked like militants without getting hurt. Is Kai Wenjie going too far? Very excessive. Because innocent people will die under his orders, but Kai Wenjie has no regrets. This is a decision he needs to make as a commander. The time came to 2:30 in the middle of the night, and we only needed half an hour to go before we could take action. Kai Wenjie was still observing the situation below. Most of the lights in the villa were extinguished but still very bright. Kai Wenjie was now observing the villa with an ordinary telescope. It was found that the defense in the villa was weakening little by little as time went by, and many security personnel were slacking off. Kai Wenjie was not surprised by this. After all, they said they were security guards, but they were actually just villagers with guns, and they did not pass by. What training? The patrols went from 5 minutes to half an hour, and the dogs were missing. The people on the roof who were staring down at them were also missing. They must be slacking off somewhere. Soon it was 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Time's up, everyone take action. After Kai Wenjie said something into the intercom to start taking action, he began to focus on his men. At the guard post at the exit of the village, the 2 guards on guard had fallen asleep deeply, and no one was watching the gate at all. This made Kai Wenjie speechless. It was really unprofessional, but Kai Wenjie still spoke to the intercom. Please pay attention to whether there is a monitor or anything like that over the gate. If there is one, knock it off. After Kai Wenjie finished speaking, he turned to the sniper who had been lying with him for nearly 2 hours. Zhang Hai, Li Tian, who are the 2 on guard at the entrance of the village? One of you 2, listen to my command. Kai Wenjie took the thermal imager and looked at the sleeping guard below, and after seeing the right moment. Shooting. Kai Wenjie gave the order, and Zhang Hai and Li Tian beside him pulled the trigger at the same time. After the bullet passed through the barrel and silencer and made a muffled gunshot, the 2 people who were sleeping peacefully in the thermal imaging fell asleep even more. It smells good, but it smells so good that it will never get up. To be honest, even with the use of a silencer, Kai Wenjie, who was next to the sniper rifle, was still startled by the sound of the gunfire, but fortunately, except for a few people close by, almost no one could hear the gunshot. The sentry at the entrance of the village has been taken down. You continue to move forward. Yes. The 2 teams under the thermal imaging quickly approached the wooden gate at the entrance of the village. The exit of the village was blocked by a 3-meter-high wooden gate, but this height could not stop them. With the cooperation of a few people, they could easily jump over it. Wooden door. After successfully sneaking into the village, Kai Wenjie continued to track the 2 teams in real time and provide timely information. You can see the open space ahead by turning right. With the hostages in the open space as the center point, there are ambushes on the roofs at 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 12 o'clock. Kai Wenjie accurately reported the enemy's direction to Deng Jun and others. There are at least 2 people on the top of each room, including 3 people at 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Each of your 2 teams is responsible for the enemy in one place. The enemies at 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock are left to you. We will take care of the rest. After Kai Wenjie gave the order to the team below, he contacted the people on the opposite mountain. Shun Lu, you heard me. They will deal with the enemies at 3 o'clock and 7 o'clock. Your 2 will be responsible for the enemies on the roof at 12 o'clock. I will be responsible for the people at 10 o'clock. Yes. After the smooth sound came, Kai Wenjie asked the sniper to aim at the enemy at the 10 o'clock direction, and then waited for everyone to touch the enemy's invisible place, and cooperated with the team below to start calling the names one by one. Shooting. Almost at the same time, the sniper on Kai Wenjie's side and the sniper on Xunliu's side fired their shots within less than a second. Although the sound could not be heard, the flames emitted by the sniper rifle could still be seen for a moment. Low gunfire sounded, and 4 more people fell asleep forever, while the 2 teams below also rushed to the roof. Deng Jun's team quickly used 23 Malawian kwachas to eliminate the enemies on the roof, and the deputy platoon leader's team also silently killed the enemies they were responsible for. Report. Unplug personnel safely. Start rescuing hostages. After Deng Jun finished his report, he led his men in a vigilant formation towards the pillar where the hostages were tied in the middle of the open space. The deputy platoon leader led his people to carry out assassinations one by one. The tied special police officers and others were shivering from the cold. Captain Zhang Yong vaguely heard some footsteps and hurriedly called out to wake up his teammates around him. Before everyone woke up, Deng Jun brought people to Zhang Yong and blocked his mouth to prevent him from making any sound. Zhang Yong wanted to struggle, but he was stunned when he saw the equipment of Deng Jun and others. After covering Zhang Yong's mouth, Deng Jun said softly, "Shoo! Keep your voice down. We are here to save you." Nod if you understand. Zhang Yong nodded quickly, indicating that he understood. Seeing Zhang Yong nod, Deng Jun finally let go of his hand covering his mouth, then he came behind him and cut the rope with a knife and let Zhang Yong down. The other team members also cut everyone's ropes like Deng Jun and let them down. Zhang Yong wanted to say something, but was stopped by Deng Jun. Let's talk later. Let's leave here first. Can we go? Zhang Yong tried to stand up by himself, but soon fell down. Because he hadn't put it down for too long, Zhang Yong and his friends couldn't stand up in a short time, there was no other way. Deng Jun ordered everyone to carry one person and leave. After Kai Wenjie saw this scene on the mountain, he asked on the intercom to confirm what happened. What's going on? Deng Jun heard Kai Wenjie's question from the intercom and quickly replied. Report, the hostages have been rescued, but because they have been tied up for too long, they can't move in a short time, so we can only evacuate them to the rear first. I know. Take them to the infantry fighting vehicle and hand them over to the crew on standby there. Yes. Chapter 79 Rescue completed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After receiving Kai Wenjie's order, Deng Jun and his men quickly evacuated to the infantry fighting vehicle. The deputy platoon leader continued to lead people to sweep the houses around the attackers. No matter who they were, no one could escape from his gun. On the other side, Deng Jun and other team members each carried a special police officer and returned to the place where the infantry fighting vehicle stayed. After just arriving here, he handed it over to the infantry fighting vehicle crew without saying a word, and then left here without looking back. Just as Zhang Yong wanted to say thank you, he was no longer visible. I had no choice but to start communicating with the crew of the infantry fighting vehicle. Thank you for saving us. If possible, can you give us water? Of course, here you go. The driver of the infantry fighting vehicle took out his own water bottle and handed it to Zhang Yong. The other crew members also took out their own water bottles and handed them to the special police officers. Although they were already very thirsty, the special police officers still resisted drinking water. Desire, but first said thank you to the crew. Thanks. Then I started to drink the water from the kettle bit by bit. If I suddenly drink a lot of water after not drinking for a long time, it would be bad for my stomach, so I drank the water in small sips. Zhang Yong asked the driver of the infantry tank while drinking water. Brother, which department are you in? What's your name? I am a soldier at Xinguan Gathering Area. My name is Zhao Zilong. Don't laugh. This is the name my father gave me. He is a fan of the Three Kingdoms. When my mother gave birth to me, he named me Zhao Zilong. Can't even stop it. After hearing what Zhao Zilong said, Zhang Yong smiled because he was still drinking water and choked on it. After Zhao Zilong saw that the guy in front of him was choked by water, he shrugged helplessly and then asked. What about you, brother? What are you and your brother's names? Please introduce yourself. My name is Zhang Yong, and they are all my brothers. The tallest one is called Yang Yijuan, the tall one is called Xiang Long, the one with the silly smile is called He Gung, and the youngest Li Mu. The drivers who were with us didn't have any. I held back and surrendered. Zhang Yong told Zhao Zilong his experience in detail, and Kai Wenjie heard it clearly on the intercom. Zilong, give him the walkie-talkie and I'll ask him personally. After Zhao Zilong heard the instruction, he handed the walkie-talkie to Zhang Yong. Zhang Yong also knew that the entire conversation just now had been heard by this unidentified person. When Zhao Zilong handed the walkie-talkie to Zhang Yong, he said. The person you want to talk to is our company commander, the person in charge of the Xinguan gathering place, and the person who issued the mission to rescue you this time. Pay attention to your tone. Okay. After Zhang Yong took the walkie-talkie, he said carefully. Hello, thank you for saving us, thank you. You're welcome. Rather than this, I want to ask you, how is the enemy's firepower configuration? Have all the drivers rebelled? Why is there no gatekeeper where the grain truck is parked? Is it a trap? Kai Wenjie asked directly without politeness. Several questions were all information that must be clarified now. Let me answer your questions one by one. The first is the enemy's firepower configuration. They only have obsolete weapons, as well as the firearms and bullets taken from the police station and us. There are no heavy weapons, but there are grenade. Zhang Yong calmly answered Kai Wenjie's questions. Diamond suit, diamond suit. The drivers rebelled a few hours ago, but like us, they persisted for 3 days before surrendering. I think they can be forgiven. As for why the grain truck parked at the warehouse was not guarded, I don't know. But it's definitely not a trap. Are you sure? Yes. I am sure and certain that it is not a trap, because I have seen many villagers staying there in the past 3 days, and I have not seen anything strange. No one even drove them away. Kai Wenjie's brows relaxed a little. As long as it was not a trap, Kai Wenjie confirmed again and again for safety reasons. Are you sure that the other party doesn't have heavy firepower? Yes. When they stopped our convoy, they just sent people to scatter crops on the road we must pass. They pretended that they accidentally overturned and caused the crops to cover the road. Then they begged us to get out of the car to help, because it was indeed it's a bit pitiful. I blame me for getting out of the car to help out of sympathy without thinking much, and then I was captured by those people using police equipment and old objects. Speaking of which, Zhang Yong wanted to bury himself somewhere. It was so embarrassing. When he was captured, maybe he wanted to show how powerful he was. He showed us all his belongings intentionally or unintentionally. Some people even tied grenades in front of them like terrorists. I walked back and forth several times and I almost couldn't help laughing. Zhang Yong smiled silently when he thought of that scene. At that time, I carefully observed everyone. There were about 80 people who owned firearms. Most of them were 56 punches, 81 bar, and a small number of local muskets were our Type 95. I didn't find any weapons such as machine guns. Or heavy firepower such as rocket launchers. The more Kai Wenjie listened, the more he blushed. It turned out that the footage taken by the drone was actually real. Unfortunately, he thought the other party was hiding his true strength. This time, Kai Wenjie thought the other party was on the 5th floor, but it turned out that the other party had not even reached the 1st floor. In other words, Kai Wenjie can drive the infantry tank into the enemy's hometown and directly drive the Wushuang. Okay, I got it. You guys should rest over there first. Give the intercom back to Zilong. I have a few words to tell him. Okay. After Zhang Yong agreed, he returned the intercom to Zhao Zilong. After Zhao Zilong took the intercom, he asked. Captain, please speak. Zilong, be ready for the assault. When I give the order, you take another infantry fighting vehicle and rush directly into Wumi village and wait for orders. Yes. Kai Wenjie ended the call, then raised the thermal imaging telescope, looked at the village below, and began to contact the two teams below. Team A. Team B. Got it, please reply. Team A got it. Team B got it. Very good. According to the hostage's intelligence, the enemy has no heavy firepower, only light weapons, and the driver also defected a few hours ago, and should be in a house now. Be sure to find them and let them drive the truck loaded with food and leave here. Team A got it. Team B got it. At this time, the deputy platoon leader of Team B had already touched the 8th house. He quietly opened the closed door and flashed into the house like a ghost. In the previous 7 houses, the deputy platoon leader had eliminated everyone in the house silently. Chapter 80, Sad Memories. You are listening at novelfull.audio. But this time the deputy platoon leader hesitated. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit, because the people in the room this time were a woman in her 30s and 2 children. One child looked less than 2 years old, and the other looked only 5 years old. The previous room was full of adults, and the deputy platoon leader could pull the trigger without hesitation, but this time he couldn't do it. The 23 Malawian Kwacha's pistol with a silencer was aimed at the 3 people who were lying down and sleeping peacefully. Couldn't pull the trigger. Looking around, you can see that there is a family portrait hanging on the wall, which contains photos of a family of 4. It is obviously this family, but next to it there is a black and white photo of the man in the family portrait, which means that the woman in front of him is a single mother is now raising 2 children alone, and the child's father has passed away. The soldiers following him noticed that the deputy platoon leader had not taken action yet. Knowing that the deputy platoon leader was interested in Silhouette, it was not difficult to understand. The deputy platoon leader was also a father before, but his wife died in childbirth. Although in the end, she tried her best to give birth to a pair of twins, but she still passed away, and not long after, the twins also failed to survive. At that time, the deputy platoon leader was still a young soldier who had just joined the army. He was assigned to the border area and had no information. He only had the old wired phone, so he had no idea about the death of his wife and children. He only knew that his wife was about to give birth to a baby, and it was a twin. He submitted a request for leave early to visit his wife and children, but a phone call directly shattered his hopes and pushed him directly. Endless abyss. On the other side of the phone was his mother-in-law. She cried and told him about the death notice issued by the hospital. At first, the deputy platoon leader did not believe it, thinking that the mother-in-law was joking, and said seriously that the joke was not funny, but the mother-in-law kept crying, and the deputy platoon leader gradually realized that this might not be a joke. He began to panic and began to beg his mother-in-law. Explain. Mom. Are you kidding, right? Xiaoxin is okay, right? Xiaoxin is with you, right? Tell me you are joking. I beg you, tell me you are joking. In the end, the deputy platoon leader couldn't even control his emotions and shouted loudly. The deputy platoon leader's shout startled the surrounding soldiers and started to surround them, but no matter how much the deputy platoon leader requested, the sound of crying kept coming from the phone. This made the deputy platoon leader lose his mind and shouted into the phone. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I want to see Xiaoxin with my own eyes. In the end, the deputy platoon leader went directly upstairs to get his personal belongings, and then left the military camp building on the border. However, he was stopped at the gate. At that time, the deputy platoon leader had lost his mind and just wanted to leave here and go back. Arrive home, he started to rush through the border, but was subdued by several sentries working together and imprisoned directly in a small dark room. This incident attracted the attention of his superiors. After understanding the situation, they directly approved the deputy platoon leader's vacation and then issued an order. Take it to the nearest airport by helicopter. In this way, the deputy platoon leader returned to his hometown, but after returning to his home, what greeted him was not the gentle embrace of his wife, but a black and white photo and a death notice. The deputy platoon leader's eyes simply lost his soul. He thought she cried but couldn't cry. She wanted to make a sound but couldn't. Most of her originally black hair turned white in an instant. Later, when he returned to the original border, the deputy platoon leader seemed to have become a different person. His original cheerful personality disappeared and became taciturn. During training, he no longer complained about hardship and tiredness, but became more devoted to himself. Energy, no. It should be hard training. Later, when the instructor asked him why he was working so hard, the deputy platoon leader said this. Only during training can I forget my grief for a short time, but the physical pain is far less than the pain in my heart. As soon as I close my eyes, I will think of my wife and children. They told me they miss me so much and want me to accompany them. I know this is my problem, so I can only train hard so that I don't have time to think about it. That's why now the deputy platoon leader can't take action when he sees one large and two small people in front of him. Other team members who knew what happened to the deputy platoon leader were also in trouble. One of the team members quietly left the room, stood in a corner outside the room and started to contact Kai Wenjie. You're from Team B, right? What's wrong? That's actually the case. The team member reported the current situation to Kai Wenjie. After hearing this, Kai Wenjie frowned and said, I understand. I will order you to leave the house later. You did a good job. What is your name? Report, my name is Lu Hongjie. Lu Hongjie. Okay. I remember you, and I will reward you with an extra 50 points when you go back. Thank you, Company Commander. After Kai Wenjie ended the call, he thought about it and said on the intercom. The plan has changed. The assassination mission has been cancelled. It has been changed to control. Tie up all the villagers and don't let them make any sound. Receive. After hearing Kai Wenjie's new order, the deputy platoon leader breathed a sigh of relief. If he only had control, he could still do it. The other team members also breathed a sigh of relief inexplicably. To be honest, during the assassination, I am very hesitant. After all, they are all living people. If I don't have such a big consciousness, I really can't take action. Nothing to say. The team members quickly completed the work of binding and gagging them before they could react. Although it was a bit troublesome, it was much better than killing a life for no reason. The mother and daughter who were sleeping also woke up completely. They wanted to say something, but they had been gagged by the team members. They could only hum and make scared sounds. As for the children, they were tied up but not gagged. They were afraid of suffocating them. Instead, they took a lollipop and stuffed it into the children's mouths. The child who was about to cry did not make a fuss but just licked the candy in his mouth and looked at the team members in front of him curiously. This is what it means to be a newborn calf that is not afraid of a tiger. After doing all this, the deputy platoon leader led people out of the house. After looking back, he moved his mouth. No one knew what the deputy platoon leader said. Go to the next house. An hour later, all the houses except the villa were visited by the two teams AB. By the way, the truck drivers were also recaptured. At the same time, dozens of firearms were seized, basically 56 submachine guns and 81 rifles, as well as hundreds of bullets, but not a single grenade was seen. At this time, the infantry fighting vehicles that were originally outside the village also came into the village and were parked in the open space. Chapter 81 Breakthrough. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The infantry fighting vehicle driving into the village meant that Kai Wenjie had given up the assassination and was going to take a strong attack. To be honest, when he knew that the enemy had no heavy firepower, Kai Wenjie directly reduced the danger level of Wumi village from level 1 to level 3, that's why the infantry fighting vehicle was sent to support. At this time, Kai Wenjie and the sniper moved to a new sniper point that could reach the villa to ensure that the sniper could kill the threatening person in the first time. Attention! The people in the villa may have discovered you, so fight quickly and decisively. Yes. After Kai Wenjie's attack order was issued, two infantry fighting vehicles took the lead and began to move towards the villa. The armed personnel in the villa also found something wrong and hurriedly looked into the distance. At this time, the headlights of the infantry fighting vehicle lit up, which directly caused a brief blindness to the armed personnel who were looking. At the same time, the 105mm rifled cannon and 7mm vehicle-mounted machine gun on the infantry fighting vehicle began to tilt deadly flames in the direction of the villa area, and the team members following the infantry fighting vehicle also began to fire at the villa area. The infantry fighting vehicles and the team members were moving and shooting at the same time, directly suppressing the armed personnel in the villa. Not to mention fighting back, they still don't know what's going on now. They just lie on the ground trembling and cover their ears or eyes to escape reality. The sound of gunfire outside the villa not only scared the people in the villa, but also blew Zhou Zucai out of the warm bed. Zhou Zucai, who woke up, shouted hurriedly. Butler! Butler! What's going on now? What's going on outside? Why are there gunshots? At this time, the door of the bedroom suddenly opened, and a middle-aged man dressed as a British-style butler came in. He said before he stood firm. It's bad, there are troops outside, sir, please leave through the back door. What did you say? The army is coming. This. Zhou Zucai couldn't believe what he heard. It seems that he didn't do anything. Could it be that the food belongs to the army? Zhou Zucai reacted at this time. No wonder there was an army coming to fight him. Isn't that right? Shouldn't they ask me why I want to borrow food? How could they just start fighting without asking anything? The housekeeper saw that the person he served was still afraid to face the reality, so he could only urge him again. Sir, the army outside is about to attack, and our people have no power to fight back. Please escape from the back door before the army attacks, that's the only hope. The housekeeper's anxious voice finally brought Zucai back to his senses. You are right, housekeeper. Go and inform the wife's children to gather at the back door, and then escape. Okay sir, I'll go right away. After the housekeeper finished speaking, he hurriedly left the room. Zucai also quickly changed his clothes, and did not forget to take out a pistol from the safe, and then hurried to the back door of the villa. As for why he didn't take people to resist. Joke. Others don't know, don't you know it? These so-called villa bodyguards, let them fight ordinary people, it's okay, once they encounter a real army, they will only be beaten, even his former brothers are more useful than them, so instead of making a fearless resistance, it is better to slip away before they react. When Zucai arrived at the back door, there were already 3 people waiting for him. In addition to the housekeeper just now, there was a charming young woman and a little boy who looked only about 10 years old. They were Zucai's current wife and the child of Zucai and his ex-wife. After seeing Zucai arrive, the young woman approached directly and said, "My enemy, the fire outside scared me to death, let's go quickly." But the little girl didn't react at all, just stood there coldly, saying nothing. "My thing has been exposed, and there are troops outside to arrest me. If I had known this, I shouldn't have taken that batch of food. Now it's useless to say anything. Let's leave here quickly." After Zucai finished speaking, he took the lead in pushing open the back door and walked out, but what he didn't know was that the housekeeper, his wife, and even his children didn't follow him. Zucai felt that no one was following him, and turned his head in confusion, wanting to see why. Bang! With a gunshot, Zucai felt a pain in his chest, and raised his head with difficulty to look at the back door. At the back door, the butler was holding a black pistol, and smoke was coming out of the muzzle. It was obvious that the gunshot just now came from the gun in the butler's hand. You betray me. As soon as Zucai finished speaking, he fell down and closed his eyes forever. At this time, the butler said in a low tone, "When you killed my parents, you should know what one life for one life means, and she is already my woman, and even your child is not your own." After speaking, the butler even laughed a few times, and the enchanting woman also wrapped her arms around the butler at this time, resting her head on the butler's shoulder and showing a happy smile, while the little girl was still that cold, and she was unbelievably calm from beginning to end. The main entrance of the villa, the infantry fighting vehicle, had already broken through the gate of the villa and directly smashed open the locked iron gate. The soldiers following the infantry fighting vehicle also followed the infantry fighting vehicle into the villa. As time went by, the armed personnel in the villa, who originally had no resistance, were all killed, and the rest laid down their weapons and surrendered. These included the housekeeper who had just killed Zucai, as well as the charming woman and the little girl. Deng Jun led Team A to check if there were any hidden armed personnel in the villa, while Team B, led by the deputy platoon leader, was responsible for guarding the prisoners. Soon Deng Jun and his men finished checking the villa and found no hidden personnel, but found a body that was obviously shot at the back door. They were also dragged to the front door by Deng Jun, where dead bodies and prisoners were piled up. There were a total of 35 dead bodies and 15 living prisoners. Deng Jun then began to contact Kai Wenjie. Report that all the armed elements in the villa have been safely pulled out, killing 35 people and capturing 15 people, and there are no casualties on our side. Very good. Wait for me to come down. Yes. Kai Wenjie led the sniper down the mountain and headed straight for the villa. As soon as he came in, he saw corpses all over the ground. He didn't have any thoughts, and then he moved his sight to the group of prisoners. When the prisoners saw that the officers were observing them, they couldn't help but lower their heads even lower. However, there were always some people who not only didn't lower their heads, but also straightened their backs and straightened their slightly crooked dresses. Then he met Kai Wenjie's sight directly. This person was none other than the housekeeper who killed Zucai.